Everyone, how you doing? Today we'll talk about how to get a job, your first job as a graduate of cybersecurity analyst. You're a cybersecurity analyst graduate and you want to land your first role, your first job. So I'll be able to explain this, and I wish you are able to take. I believe you are going to take practical steps to make this a reality, and you follow it detailed. So there is no formula per se for getting a job. But what we say is there are templates, right? These templates are gotten as data from a lot of people who want to be able to get jobs, opportunities, positions through this means. So you might not actually get it through this means, but it serves as a template. That means your own might not follow the same procedure, but the template helps you to be able to understand how it is to get a job. For example, you might just finish a cybersecurity certificate course now, and somebody just calls you that, hey, there's an opening here. A friend calls you, there's an opening in this place. Will you actually apply? And fine. But you might even come for the program because you probably have someone who might recommend you. So you might be recommended. All of these things are, you know, general order parts of which you can get a job. But generally speaking, it is a very data driven template of how you can be able to land your first role, assuming you don't have anyone to recommend you, you don't have any opportunity. And that is, by the way, aside without prejudice to DDT concept, also recommending you because we have approved that you are actually qualified to be able to get a position. That means you have your capstone project, you have one or two projects, you've been able to do all that we say. Generally speaking, we recommend our students to companies. So we have our own recommendation policy and recommendation procedure. Then you also need to also put your own cards, play your cards while we play our cards. And at the end of the day, everybody's excited. But it takes a lot of diligence from you also. So the first thing here is your stratification from your certification to your first job. The first is preparation and branding. The next is application and strategy. Then we have the interviews and learning the role. So this is the main things we're going to discuss: how you can prepare yourself, how you can brand yourself, the application strategy to use, and the interview and landing the role. So this also includes internship positions and full-time analyst positions, where in Nigeria or across the globe. Because we live in a global world, so you might actually get an opportunity of a remote job in anywhere across the globe, and that's a glad and grand opportunity for you to be able to boost your resume and to be able to increase your potentials. So the first thing we'll look at now is you need to complete your DDT concept certificates. And that means complete your modules. Once you complete your modules, you generate the certificate, which is verifiable. We have a scan QR code on it that people can verify and know that you actually completed the certificate. Then you need to create a standout cybersecurity resume. So your resume is more like you are creating a write up about you, a standard one page write up that shows your expertise, your skills, how you can be able to offer help for the company. All of these things are in your resume, your potentials, all that you can do are actually going to be included in the resume. So we're going to give you a standard type of resume. That's part of it. You see an example here, a standard type of resume that you can use for yourself. Then another part is your LinkedIn profile. Why is LinkedIn so overemphasized? Let me just say the word like that. And that's because companies of all sizes, serious companies, always flock to LinkedIn to get jobs and to recruit. That's because LinkedIn is a community of entrepreneurs, a community of people who are looking for opportunities, jobs, and a corporate world. LinkedIn is more of a corporate community, unlike Facebook or Instagram or TikTok. So companies always flock here to be able to understand who a person they're actually employing is. They're able to look at your LinkedIn to be able to see all of your past experiences, things you have done, and then projects you have worked on. They also can see companies you have worked with. They can see your articles, your write-up, and they want to know how much of the industry knowledge you have, how passionate you are about the industry, your problem solving skills, and all of these things are going to be highlighted on your LinkedIn profile. So your LinkedIn profile is more like a CV on its own, more like a resume, and something that actually tells a life story of you from where you started and how you have been going along your journey. So that tells you that you need to make sure you keep updating your LinkedIn and stay active on LinkedIn so that you can have a live resume. The other core understanding you must have to be able to succeed in cybersecurity as a professional, as an analyst, is network security. You need to understand how network works. Like we've always said it, you cannot protect what you don't understand. You can't protect what you don't understand. So you need to understand how networks works, how network security works, how threat hunting works, how you can hunt down a threat. They need to understand basic tools that we use in security analysis. You need to understand all these basic tools. You can carry out phishing investigations, incident response. All of these things are key things for you to understand. Then your portfolio should include case studies, like case studies of different scenarios. It should include things like reports. It should include things like labs you've completed. So you can go online and check for labs, complete one or two labs. Just labs you completed are also important. Then your capstone project. Let's talk about is building a very powerful portfolio, and this is so important. So the first thing you have your portfolio is your capstone project. So the project you did, we have capstone project you placed at the end. That's the penultimate part of the course. Just you see your capstone projects. We have like almost 10 capstone projects. You need to choose one to submit, then you can work on the rest on your own, just as pet project. So you have that. Then you can also have screenshot of log analysis that you've done on your own private project, like Wireshark packet analysis. Also, you can do that one and put the screenshots. Then is there response plans? Just things that makes us know. We can share videos, screenshots of your workflow, things that makes us know that you actually are very good in your profession. So once you do all of that, next thing is to host it. Now, how can you host it? You can either host it on GitHub, which is a free place you can host on your files. Since you just say one page file, you can host it on GitHub, or you have a personal website, or on Notion, any other tool, you can easily host it there. Next year, you need to have key strength in Linux. You need to have key technical skills in Linux and command line. It's so important because you use Linux for a lot of work, and then you need to have understanding of firewalls, IDS, IPS, email headers, and phishing forensics. You also need to have an idea of Nmap, Wireshark. Just test it, work your way around it, and then basic scripting. Just have very basic knowledge of Python, and how it works. Now, this part is very important. That part is a part of branding yourself. How can you brand yourself to stand out? The same thing you are doing is the same thing that a whole lot of cybersecurity analyst graduates will be doing. So think about it. If everybody is doing the same thing, something must actually make you unique or stand you out. And that's where your personal branding comes in. So you need to be able to tell your story and tell it well. You need to have, a strong headline, like your profile headline is cybersecurity analyst. Tell your story, show your projects, and if you have any certification like the one from GT Concept or any online certification that you might just use to learn, you can just add it there. In part of telling your story, one of the things you can do is also engage in other people's stories. People that are kind of leaders in that space. You can be able to engage in their stories, comment on their posts, share their posts, be a part of a community online, make sure that at least you are able to be frequent, engaging, and then all these things can be able to open several doors. So tell your story is very important. You need to be able to uniquely tell why you are passionate about cybersecurity. Why do you love it? Why should you keep doing it? And then how enthusiastic are you about, the cybersecurity world, about evolving threats, about being a defender, defending against different crimes. So your activity on LinkedIn is very important. It shows why you are the good one for the job. So you can join communities on LinkedIn that actually relate to what you're doing. It's also one way. Communities are very helpful because most times job opportunities are placed inside communities. You see a lot of job offers are placed inside communities, not so aside the ones that companies place outside just to advertise. The main job offers are placed inside communities, so you can't afford to miss out on that. The next thing you have to do yourself is to apply. In addition to company applying for you, your school applying for you need to also apply by yourself. You need to apply for different roles, target specific roles like cybersecurity intern. As a cybersecurity analyst, you can also target roles like security analyst, even SOC analyst too, information security analyst. Because some companies name them differently. Some companies name it cybersecurity analyst, some will name it SOC analyst. So the names, anything around that range, just make sure that you are very familiar with that and apply for that. Technical support, all of these are different ranges you can apply for. So I always see application as, don't be emotional about application. Like you apply and then if you don't give response, if you I'm not gonna apply again. No, see, take your mind off it. Apply like you're playing a game. Just keep applying. Whether they get response or not, make it a duty to apply. Who knows, you might all get a response when you don't even plan for it. You might just get a mail, hey, we reviewed your stuff and come and join us, come and and all of that. So it's very important that you keep applying for different opportunities, as you can see, and just apply. Make sure you apply. Then another thing you can do also is to follow up. Sometimes you can set the follow up. If you see the HR of the company, make sure you slide into people's DMs. That's another way. Look for HR, slide into their DMs and push your resume there. Sell yourself into their DMs directly. They may not respond, but they've seen your message. At the right time, when there's an opportunity, they will always call back. So push into people's DMs a whole lot, especially HRs and CEOs of companies and top managers. Just look for the person that has the say in that company. Then apply. So how do you apply? Obviously, you have to apply through places like LinkedIn. You can also do Indeed and other places that give remote or jobs both in Nigeria and abroad. Another thing, you can search for filters on cybersecurity, like cybersecurity internships, entry level SOC analyst, or whatever position like that. So, like we said, your summary of all these things is, make sure you highlight your skills, your training, why you're passionate about it. Write stories about why your input to the community, and then make sure you are active. Create reports. Make sure your portfolio is active, where you have things you have done. Then capstone projects, take it very serious, and then you know make sure that at least you are able to brand yourself. Keep your message unique. Keep pushing out for opportunities. Stay open. Slide into DMs. Slide into DMs a whole lot, and then that's what we can say. Your passion for security, your real life experience, reference real life experience, all of these things are very important. So if you get the opportunity, what next? That means interview. So you have to prepare for interview. Interview questions are very similar when it comes to, they just prepare for it, and you can have different questions like different between IDS and IPS. How do you investigate a phishing incident? how you respond to a ransomware alert, walk us through your capstone project, or they might just give you a case scenario of a question that applies to how you can rescue the company from an attack and how much of incident response you understand, how much of planning, coordination you understand, how much of threat hunting you understand, and all of these things. So sometimes they can try and throw to you case scenarios that shows your knowledge and how you can be helpful to the organization. So that's very key and very important. Once you do all of this, you are sure that you are going to get a job. Then you can also do mock interviews with your friends and peers and mentors. Just give them questions, interview me, so you can be able to see how um, good you can be. Some people are frightened when it comes to questions. So we also have a mock interviews. You can also arrange where you can be able to ask you questions so that you to see how well you can even stand to answer questions. So another thing you can also look at is internships. When you start with internships, the focus is to go into full-time roles. So if you are very diligent, you're very proactive, and you do well, it's more likely that you are going to be recruited. You're going to get into the full-time. So internships sometimes is just to see. Okay, let's just get to you and see if you are really someone that you can even maybe go on with. So you can find internships so many places, like there are career pages of tech companies. Just apply. Um, just filter on LinkedIn internships. Can go through government cyber internships and for freelancer sites internships. All of these things are just to get your experience. Then, if you have the money, you have the money, like extra change with you, you can go for certifications like CompTIA Security Plus. All of these are also very good. So we said your repo, go to your GitHub, create your, add up your projects there. Let it be something that actually shows what you've done. If the opportunity to volunteer for NGOs and all of that, then always make sure you apply a progress tracker. Track your progress and see how much you are learning, how much you are actually impacting. Well, all of these things works. Skills plus branding plus strategy plus consistency will always get you hired. Thank you.